Hi everyone, Salesforce Admin Training Day 14. Let's see what are we going to learn today. We'll quickly go through the previous session overview. We'll talk about the requirement, one of the requirement, how to create an object. And then we'll talk about the tabs. And then we'll talk about the custom object tabs, how to create a custom object tabs and how to create a web tabs and a custom object from the spreadsheet, how to download, how to load the data, how to create a custom object by loading the data from CSV file or XLS file. And we'll see one of the use case and we'll talk about the fields. Now in the fields, what is the standard fields, what is how to rename the tab and label. We will see that how to create a custom fields and what are the Gartner limits, ways to list out the fields. Then we will see the data type, questions, interview questions, quiz and interview questions. Now quickly, what did we learn in the last class?
Recording in progress.
Auto-respond rules, organization-wide email addresses,
Right, so we have seen auto response and organization-wide email, Web2 lead auto response, Web2 case auto response, and then we have seen the standard object and what is the object, how to create an object, what are the different ways to view the object, right? And what is the Gartner limits. So these all things we have seen. Now today, continuation of that. Yesterday we have discussed about the object, right? So when we go to the setup and here object manager is there, here we can see create. If you click on a create, it says the custom object and custom object from spreadsheet. These two options are available. Now let's see the requirement. Requirement is create a custom object. Create a custom object with the name branch without any tab. Without any tab. That means they are asking us to create a custom object. And when we are creating the custom object, we should not select the tab. That means we do not need a tab here. So it just required a branch. We have to create it without any tab. And the object name is branch. Whenever we create a branch, we know that there is a table name that is created automatically from the backend, which is called as a branch __ C. And then create the custom object without selecting the checkbox, launch new custom tab wizard after saving the custom object. So they are suggesting us to create a new custom object. And whenever I create a new custom object, I should uncheck the one which is available. Like if I do not want a tab to be created, if I do not want a tab to be created, then what should I need to do? I need to uncheck that particular checkbox. I need to uncheck that particular checkbox. So that is the requirement. So basically we have to create a branch. So let's go ahead and create a branch. Now, in order to create a branch, the steps which we have seen yesterday. So let's go to the create, click on a custom object. When we click on a custom object, this is the screen we will see. In this screen, the label name we have to specify. As soon as I specify a label name, it's a branch. As soon as I specify a label name, so object name is, which is automatically displays. Object name is automatically displays. And the plural name is branches. Plural name is branches. Right, so here branch name, I'm directly taking the record name is branch name, text. Let's say allow reports. I wanted to see this object while creating the reports. Activities, yes, I wanted to allow this object for the activities. Track a field history, then that's it. Then go down, allow search. and then we should not be selecting the last one because that is the tab. Now click on here, add tabs. If you do not want notes and attachment, if you want notes and attachment, check this. But if you do not want notes and attachment, uncheck this. So for now, I'm checking this and then launch new custom tab wizard after saving this custom object. Now, if I click on a save, the tab will not be created. The tab will not be created. Now I'll click on this. Everything I'll say here, I'll click on a save button. I'll click on a save button. Once I click on a save button, I see that it is redirected to the branch. It is redirected to the branch. And here, what is happened here? API name is branch__c. Branch__c. Custom is enabled. That means it is a custom object. Enable reports true, track activities true, track field history true, deployment status in deployment, singular label, plural label. These are the values it is going to display. And if you go to the fields and relationship, what will happen by default? Salesforce is going to create 5 fields. One is a name created by, last modified by owner. Apart from this, there is one more field which gets created by the Salesforce, which is a ID. We cannot see the ID field here. We cannot see ID field here. And along with this, whenever we create a new object manager, by default, one layout will be created. By default, one layout will be created. Now, if I go to the here, whether it is a sales, service, whatever it is, let's click on a view all. Now I'll click on a sales. So when I click on a sales, am I able to see the branch right now? Let's search here. I'll see here branch. I'm not able to see the branch because what we have done is we have not selected the checkbox branch. Now, whenever you have not selected the branch, later if you want to enable, how can we do it? We will see that later. We will see that later. But let me create one more object. So let's say here, create custom object. Let's say here, I'll create a patient, and then here patients. And I'll select the name, allow reports, activities, track, field history, in deployment, allow search. This time I'm going to check both the checkboxes. This time I'm going to check both the checkboxes and click on a save. Before, what happened? Only one screen. Only one screen. Whenever we create a custom object, it was only one screen. But as soon as I check this, custom tab, click on a save, click on a save. And then what is happening here is it is going to redirect it to the tab. Before it did not happen, right? Now I selected the checkbox, so that's the reason it is redirected to the tabs. Now in the tabs, step 1 is enter the details. What are the details are here? Patient is the object and what is the tab style? So what is the tab style? So tab style, you can mention anything. You need to choose the one icon. You need to choose one icon. Could be any icon. You have to choose it. So let's choose the icon which is related to the people. Now click on a next. So when we click on a next, what will happen? Default on. It is asking the second step on the add profile, default on. Click on a next. Once we click on a next, it is asking, do you want to include this tab? Do you want to include this tab? Right? So then say yes, then click on a save. It will be redirected to the object manager. Means on creation of the object manager, if you select a checkbox, you will see additional 4 steps. If you uncheck the tab, you will not see the additional 4 steps. Right? So right now, if I go here and click on refresh, click on a setup, Now here, type here patient, you will see the patient's object, right? Patient's object you will see. You will see the patient's object. Now this is the patient's object. When we click on a new button, we only see two fields, name and owner. We do not see anything because by default, Salesforce is creating the 5 fields whenever the object is created. What are those 5 fields? Name, owner, ID, created by, last modified by. Right, so let's click on a cancel. Now that is how we create a object. Now homework 1, create a custom object with the name player and object name player. Table name is player __ C. Create a custom object without selecting the checkboxes. Launch a new custom tab wizard after saving the custom object. Right, and then homework 2. Homework 2 is create a custom object with the name game. Is everybody noted down the homework 1?
No, ma'am.
Please note down. Let me know once it is done. Okay, next one, homework 2. Create a custom object with the name game and object name is game, table name is game __ C. So here I have not specified anything without tab. That means you have to create this object with tab. With the tab, you have to create an object. Take in notes. Okay, so let's move on. Next topic is tab. Now, so far we have seen here how to create an object. While creating the object, if I specify the checkbox, what are the screens will I get it? And if I uncheck the checkbox, what are the screens will I get it? Will I get any screen or not? That we have seen. Now, let's see what is the tab. What is the meaning of tab? So tab is basically, it's a user interface. It provides user interface. So that means if you want to use in the user interface, if user has to click on anything, user has to click on, for example, user has to click on here object. Now here opportunities, right? Opportunities, and then click on a lead, task, files, account, like these are the, all of a sudden, if I wanted to click anything, so directly I can click on here. So tabs are basically user interface, collection of user interface to be used to manage the records inside the object, So by using the tab, we can perform all the DML operations on the object record. That means if I am able to see that particular object in the user interface, then only I can perform either insert or a update or a delete or undelete or a merge. Right? These are the options which I can do it. So by using the tab, we can perform either insert or a update or a delete or undelete or a merge. Because if I do not view the tab, if I do not see the tab, right? So how can, if I cannot view here also, how can I perform any creation of the record or updating the record or deleting the record, right? I cannot perform anything. Each object can have only one tab. Only one tab. You cannot create a more than one tab per single object. You can create for one object, only one tab is available. So object names are singular format. Object names are singular format and tab names are plural format. Tab names are plural format. So that's the reason when you go to the Salesforce, you will see here names. Names as a plural names. That means leads, tasks, right? S, files, accounts, contacts, campaigns, products, right? Patients, all of them are plural names. So tab name is always plural name. Tab name is always plural format, whereas object name is singular format. So upon crafting the tab for custom object, Salesforce provide the following 5 type of a tabs. Salesforce is providing the 5 type of a tabs. So whenever you wanted to create a tab, so what you have to do, there are 5 different types are there. 5 different type of tabs are there. One is a custom object tabs. Second one is a web tab. Third one is a visual force page tab. And fourth one is a lightning page tab. And fifth one is a lightning component tabs. Lightning component tabs, custom object tabs, web tabs, visual force page tabs, lightning page tabs, lightning component tabs, lightning component tabs. These are the 5 different types of tabs are available. 5 different types of tabs are available. Now the first one is custom object tabs. Custom object tabs. So custom object tabs are nothing but by using this feature, we can create the tabs for the custom object which do not have the tab. For example, right now we have created a branch. When we created the branch object, did we create a tab? We did not create a tab. Now later, if I wanted to create a tab, how can we create it? Using the custom object tabs. There is a section called custom object tabs. By using this, we can create a tab which does not have. Next one is a web tab. So web tab is by using this feature, we can create the tab on the tab bar navigation item, which redirect to the user to specific website or a web application. That means in the web tabs, for example, you wanted to show the another third-party URL in the Salesforce. In that case, what you can use is you can go for a web tab, because when you go for a web tab, it is basically it represents the web application based on the URL. So you need to provide the URL in the tab. So if you provide the URL, what will happen? It will be displayed the web application based on the URL. Next one is a visual force page tab. So by using this feature, we can create a tab on the tab bar navigation. This is specific to the visual force page. So if I click on a tab, what will happen? It will redirect it to the user to the that specific visual force page. It will be redirected to that specific visual force page. So by using this feature, we can create a tab or tab bar or navigation item which redirects the user to the specified visual force page. Whatever the visual force page you are mentioning it is going to redirect to that particular visual force page. Next one is a lightning page tabs. Lightning page tabs. So by using this feature, we can create a tab on the tab bar or navigation item. What will happen if I use this lightning page tab? Basically, it will redirect to the lightning page. So whatever the page that we have created, it is going to redirect the lightning page. Similarly, we have another one, lightning component tabs. Lightning component tabs. So basically, this particular lightning components is whenever we click on that particular tab, it will redirect it to the lightning component page. Lightning component page. So today we'll see the first one, custom object tabs. So whenever we are discussing each topic like a visual force, lightning page, lightning component, that time we'll go through each one of them. Right now we are discussing about the custom object. So I'll be creating the custom object tab. I'll be creating the custom object tab. So in order to create a custom object tab, so the navigation steps are search for the option tab and in the quick find, click on the tabs link. It is going to show the tab available in the organization, what are the tabs are available. And then in that you have to, there are multiple tabs are available here. In that you have to just use the custom object, go to the custom object tab section here and then click on a new button. So when you click on a new button, it is going to ask you the object name. So you need to choose it from the pick list. Once you choose the object name from the pick list, so it is going to select the tab style. What is the tab style you are looking for it? So look up icon from that, just choose the style and click on a next button and make the tab to be visible to all the profile user by selecting the default on. Then click on a next button, select the checkbox, include tab to make the tab to be visible in all application. Click on a save button. Click on save button. Right. So these are the steps which we need to follow. Now let's go ahead and create right now we have created an object, right? But we have an object called branch. So that branch object, we have not choose the tab. So what we will do is we will create a custom object tab. We will create a custom object tab. So let's go ahead and create it. Let's go to the Salesforce. In the Salesforce, here in the home tab, click on search for a tab. Search for tab. So click on these tabs. When you click on these tabs, you will see these are the custom object tabs. So click on a new button. When you click on a new button, it is going to ask you that which object. Now here the list of object, it is going to show the one which does not have a tab. It will not show all the objects list here. It will not show all the objects list. It will show only the objects that does not have a tab. It is going to show here. So click on here branch and the tab style is, just click on the tab style and choose anything which is related to that. So that is a branch and click on a next. Right, default on for everybody, click on next. We include the tab. So do you want to see this tab in every application? Yes, by default, I wanted to show this. Click on next. So that's it. So right now we have created a branches. Now, if I refresh this, now users are able to see the branches tab. Users are able to see the branches tab. So right now it is available branches, right? The branches tab is available. So that's about the custom object tab creation, custom object tab creation. Now the next one is web object tab navigation, web object tab navigation. So for web object tab navigation, you need to click on the web tab section. In the custom tabs, you have a second option which is called as a web tabs. So in this web tabs, click on a new button. Click on new button. So when you click on a new button, select the width of the tab. So whatever the width of the tab, do you want to display this in the full width or in normal width? And then click on a next button and enter that tab label name, whatever the label name is there. And then click on a style, whatever the style you wanted. Click on a next button, then URL or a website for the application, whatever the URL that you wanted to show that. Or else click on a next button and then click on a save button. Click on save button. Let's go ahead and create a web object tab navigation. Web object tab navigation. So here for web object tab navigation, click on a new button. So when you click on a new button, it is going to ask you the first step is choose the tab layout. Which tab layout, how you want it. You want a full page layout or you want a 2-column with a salesforce.com sidebar, right? So which are the option you want, you can select it. So let's say that full page width I need it. Click on next. So once I click on in next, it is going to ask what is the tab name. Let's say that I'm going to create a Dreamforce. I'm going to create a Dreamforce. And click on the tab style. You can choose any tab style here. Right, so could be any tab style. And then what are the height you wanted, choose the height. And the next one is, this is the optional. Description is you can add this page is used for Dreamforce. Click on next. So when I click on a next, it is asking me that few examples here, like organization field. Do you want to enter anything or you wanted to use the URL here? Let's say that I'm going to use the URL, which is a Dreamforce URL. I'm going to use Dreamforce URL. Now click on it, save. If you want, before click on this next button, if you want to preview this, you can click on a preview button. You can click on a preview button. Now this is a third party system. This is a third party. Dreamforce is third party. So it will be refused to connect it. That means few websites need certain connections. If you do not have that connections, you will not be able to view. Let's say that salesforce.com, or instead of a salesforce.com, I'll say that samskarit@gmail.com. Same URL name I'm giving here. Now click on a preview. Right, this is also refused to connect it. So basically there are some website we cannot connect it by default. We cannot connect it by default. It required certain security. Basically this is related to the security. If you want any security, you can do that. You can, that required a security. So let's see that www.google.com. Google.com, click on preview tab. This is also will have some security. So it is asking that, do you want to leave this redirected to the, or leave this page? If you say leave, then it is going to show here. Basically our Salesforce does not connect to the any other. So mostly Web2 tabs, we do not use it. We do not use, because this is for the web page address. In the URL, whatever the field is there, you can enter the simple URL, just it appears as a browser address bar, and you can use one or more merge fields. So basically this is used for the Visualforce pages or some kind of a lightning pages, right? Directly you can give here your Visualforce page link, and then what you can do is you can pass certain fields you can pass to this URL. So dynamically we can build the data. So click on a next. And then here click on a next button. And click on save. Right? So like this, we will be creating the web tabs. Web tabs, we will be creating it. Web tabs are very rarely used. Mostly we use the custom object, visual force tabs, lightning component tabs, lightning page tabs. Lightning page tabs. Now, any questions before I'm moving on? Is everybody clear on object creation and then tab offline? Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes,
without object, we cannot create the tab.
right.
So when we created here the web tab, here we there is no object here.
No, object view is not there, only for the custom object. Here we have a separate option, custom object. If you click on a new, what will happen is here it is going to show you the drop down. Right, so this is talking about the object. Now it is going to show you in the drop down list. If you have any object that does not have a tab, only those objects it is going to show you. In case if you do not have any objects, then it is a blank. You cannot create a tab if you do not have any objects.
Custom tab it is okay. But when we creating the web tabs,
Web tabs, okay. Web tabs is not related to the object. I'm creating a tab. It is basically just creating one additional tab here. It is not related to the object. Is that clear? So it is basically just I'm creating a tab. Tab need not to be connected to the object. Tab need not to connect to the object. It is not necessary. Every tab should be associated to the object. No, it is not necessary. Tab should be associated to the custom object. Tab should be associated to the visual force. Tab could be a lightning page. Tab could be a web URL. It is not a object. When you click on every tab, will I see the object? No. It is not necessary that every tab should be associated to the object. So homework 2, create a custom object with the name player fee and without any tab. Object name is player fee. Automatically your table name is player underscore fee underscore underscore C. So once you create, while creating this, uncheck this whatever the tab wizard is there. Then later create that particular tab from the tab option, right? Initially create this player fee without any tab. And then once you click on a save button, go to the tabs and then enable the tab. Now questions. How objects can be created in developer edition and unlimited edition? How objects can be created in the developer edition and in unlimited edition?
Custom object.
From the object manager. From the object manager, we can create it. Now, once the object is created, so here I have a object manager. For example, we have created a couple of objects. Now click on this object. Later, if you wanted to modify this name, right? Click on a edit button. When you click on a edit button, you can only change the label. You cannot change the API name. And I would not suggest you to change the object name, right? Because whenever we create an object, we should have a clarity what is the object that we are creating it. In case if you are creating also, you can change the object name, but not the API name, not the API name, right? So you can change it here. For now, for example, I have a branch object. In the branch object, I have a 2 records. Let's go ahead and create a 2 records. Click on a new button. Let's say that Madhapur branch. Madhapur branch. Click on save. And I'll create another branch. Click on new. Let's say high-tech city. Right, so these are the 2 records I have. These are the 2 records are there. Now I wanted to change the branch name. Now I wanted to change the branch name. Let's say I'm changing it is a bank branch. Bank branch. Click on a save button. So when I change the bank branch, it is only going to change the, because we should not change the API name. We should not change the API name. But how about the plural name? Let's take this. Right, so here also click on a save. Now what is happened? API name is changed, but I'll tell you the risk there. There is a risk here. Now you have created a object. I'll tell you the risk. Object you have created initially branch. You have created initially branch. Later you have implemented business logic. You have implemented business logic on this object. Right? Business logic is nothing but where we have written the code in Apex, Visual Force, right? Different places we have written the logic, right? So when we have written the logic, next you are changing the branch to the banking branch. You are changing to banking branch. So when you change the banking branch, what will happen? You need to modify all your existing places. That means whenever later, after 2 months or after immediately, if you are modifying, let's say 1 month also, even if it is 1 month or if it is 2 weeks also, by the time team has already started working on the business logic. So what will happen when you change it? Everybody is impacted with your changes. Everybody is impacted with your changes. So do not modify anything on the object level once you create it. Because you change the name here, everybody will be impacted. Everybody will be impacted. So instead of that, so what you have to do is first sort out what is the object name. Sort out what is the object name. Now I'll show you the another way of modifying it, but not right now. But do not change API names or anything once the object is created here. Right? Now, differences between the standard object and custom object. What is the differences between the custom object and standard object?
Standard objects created by default available by Salesforce. Custom objects are created by the developers or admins.
Right.
We cannot delete the standard object.
You cannot delete the standard object. You can customize it. You can create a fields into the standard object, but you cannot delete the standard object. You can add a custom fields into the standard object. Right. Any other differences between the standard and custom?
Custom objects names have __C.
API names are always there, whether it is a standard object or custom object. API names are always will be there. If it is a standard object, your API name for the standard objects are similar to the whatever the object. So if it is a object name is account, your API name is account, right? Whereas a custom object, if you are creating the branch or if you are creating the hospital, then in that case, API name is _ C. I cannot say that there is no API name. This is not the right. Salesforce also, standard objects also have a API name, but the API names are just similar to the object name. It does not have _ C. Whereas custom object is specifically, it says _ C. Right. What are different tabs available in Salesforce?
Custom object, web tabs, visual
tab,
force,
visual
visual
force.
components,
Like
lightning component and lightning.
Custom objects, web tabs, right? Lightning
Visual
page
force.
tabs, lightning component tabs, visual force tabs. Total 5 different tabs are available. Right. Now, let's move on. What is the web tab?
It redirects to another website.
Right.
website and web application.
Yeah, yes, web application URL page redirect us to the URL. Correct. And there are few trailhead links. Please go through these trailhead links. In case if you have any problem, any of this, just let me know. So sometimes Salesforce delete few trailheads, right? So we will not be able to see. These are the trailhead links. Now let's move on to the next topic. Now in the object creation itself, so we have another option. So far we have seen how to create a custom object. So far we have seen how to create a custom object. But whenever I click on a object manager, in the object manager, if I click on a drop down list, I can see that there are 2 options are there. One is a custom object, another one is a custom object from spreadsheet. Now, if I click on this, let's see that custom object from spreadsheet, what is happening? How can I do that, right? So custom object from spreadsheet. So the first thing is that you need to prepare a sheet. The spreadsheet you need to prepare. The spreadsheet, you need to prepare it. So which is similar to this one. Here we have I have created some spreadsheet. Whatever the first column it has, it is basically field name. First one is having a field name. Customer field, email field, type field, exterior color field, manual transaction field, four-wheel drive field, sunroof, right? These are the vehicle details, right? So here I have some customer names and then email ID, what type of it is, truck, SUV, blue, and what is the exterior color, gold, white, purple, manual transaction, these are some pick list values, and four-wheel drive pick list values, and sunroof is some values are available here, right? So this is the file which I have created. This is the file which I have created it. Now I'm going to share this file. Now I'm going to save this file as a vehicle information. Vehicle information. So let's go to our folder. Here I'm going to save vehicle information. Vehicle information. Now click on here, vehicle information, right? So click on it, otherwise just give as a vehicle. Click on save. Now I'm saving it as a CSV file. I'm saving it as CSV. So it should be .csv file. Now click on a save. Now vehicle has only 3 records. What are the first, second, 3, 4, second row, third row, and fourth row are there? Those are records. Those are records. So, and the first one is the field names. These are the field names. These all are field names, and second, third, fourth are record names, right? This is the file. Now, once the file is created, the first step is in the Salesforce, when you click on that option, which option you are going to click on? The option which you are going to click on, custom object from spreadsheet, custom object from spreadsheet. So what you are going to do is, whenever you click on that option, this is the screen it is going to visible. Now in this screen, you can upload the CSV file or XLSX file from the system. That means from your desktop, right? Or else, if you have a Google Sheet, in case if you have a Google Sheet, you can load it from the Google Sheet. Or else, if you have something into the OneDrive, you can load it from the OneDrive. And once it is done, for example, you have chosen the So let's assume that I have chosen the first one, CSV file upload. So once it is uploaded, now here we have a encoding format. Which one you are choosing it? Right now we have, whenever we save the file, we have chosen the UTF-8. That is a Unicode that we have chosen it, and same file details you have to choose. These details are whatever on top is there, everything will be auto calculated based on the CSV file. Value separated by comma. Right, by default CSV file will have a comma separated, and field label source detect from the row. Which row? First label. So first row is going to detect as a label names. That means a field names. And import how many records you are importing it. Or if you do not want to import the data, then you can skip the data. The next one is record name field. What is the record name field? How you are going to choose it? So you want Salesforce to choose it, or you want to choose it by your own. And then it is going to display here. What is the field names here? What is the Salesforce field name? What type of a field it is? And add it to the layout. That means whenever we load this sheet, the new custom object is created. Along with that, page layout is also created. So once this step is done, click on a next button. Then it will go to the object manager. What is the label name you wanted to use it? Like a vehicle. This label is automatically captured from the CSV. The object name will be captured from the CSV file. Whatever the name of the CSV file, it will be automatically captured. If you specify the CSV file as a vehicle, in the object properties, it will give it as a vehicle. If you specify as a CSV file as a company, then your object name is also comes as a company, right? So if you specify your CSV file is a customer details, then here object name is also customer details, right? So this is the object properties. And then below you will see advanced settings. So this is the some options. Whenever we create an object, we will see the options, right? Allow search, allow reporting, allow activities, enable charter, notes and attachment, right? So file related list on the page layout. These are the some options which we can also see in the object manager while creating the object. Similarly, when you are loading the CSV file, that time also these objects by default, these checkboxes are enabled. By default, these checkboxes are enabled. Now, once that is done, it is going to process creating the first, it will create the object, then it will create the fields, then it will create the tab, then it will create the page layout. right? Whatever the necessary details are required in order to create an object, everything will be created. Everything will be created. Once this step is done, then you will see that your object is created, object name, what are the object name is there, and how many fields are detected, how many fields are created, and how many rows are inserted. How many rows are inserted. Everything you will see the data here. So let's go ahead and see. Now here, go to the object manager. Let's go to the object manager, click on a create. Navigation steps are click on a create and choose the custom object from the spreadsheet. Choose the custom object from the spreadsheet. So once you choose it, it will ask you to log in again. Don't worry, log in again with the same credentials that you are in, with the same credentials that you are in the same object, right? So once you logged in, just cross verify the URL. Okay, just cross verify whether you are in right object or not. Now here we have a 3 options. You can choose anything. For example, right now I'm choosing it from the desktop. So right now here I have a something called admin, and let's say Swapna April batch admin 14th, and here I have a vehicle. Click on open. Now I have loaded the CSV file. Once I have loaded the CSV file, it is going to, by default, it is going to detect the CSV file and it is going to display the information here. Now here you have a different type of options. You can choose anything. This is automatically identified based on the CSV file. So these are based on the CSV file. It will be auto detected. This on top, whatever is there based on the file that you have loaded, based on that, it will be auto detected. Detect from the row, which one is a field label. So it is automatically taken as a first row is a field label name or a field name, right? And then we have a here record name field. What should be the record name field? Automatically, do you want the Salesforce to choose it, or do you want to specify the record name is field name is a customer, email, type, whatever is there. So I'll say here, let Salesforce choose it, because Salesforce is going to view the entire data and they will be created based on that. And the next option here is you are able to import 7 fields. We have a total 7 fields. So customer, email, type, exterior color, manual transaction, 4-wheel drive, sunroof. So total 7 fields we are importing along with the creation of the object. Along with the creation of object, we are also creating the fields here. We are also creating the fields here. Now, the next one is these are the fields which are available in the CSV file. But in the Salesforce, how you wanted to create it? In the Salesforce, if you want to go with the same name, you can choose the same name. Or if you want to change the name of the field, you can change it. And what type of a field it is. And what type of a field it is. It is a text field or email field, right? So by default, it is auto selected. But in case if you want to choose it. Now here, manual transaction, we have options in the CSV file, no, yes, right? For 4-wheel drive and for sunroof also we have a yes, no field. So it is by default, it is taken as a check boxes. In case if you want a pick list, choose the pick list. Which are the option you want, you can choose it and change the field type. Add to the layout, by default, it is going to add to the layout. And these are the fields that it is going to preview the first record. So this is how your record will be displayed. It doesn't show all the records. It will just show the sample 1 record to how the record will be visible in the Salesforce, right? And the next option here is hide mapping fields. In case if you want to hide the mapping fields, you can hide it. But right now I'm not seeing, I do not want that option. Now the next one here, data preview. Now here click on a data preview. That means you are going to view the data here. In case if you want a field mapping, right, you can choose that, or else you can choose this. Data preview, so just a data, how the data will be visible. So this is how the data will be visible in your org. So in customer field, text field, David, email, you have an email. So like this, the data will be visible in your Salesforce. This is a field mapping, how you are doing the field mapping, how you are doing the field mapping. So you can choose that. You can choose that. Okay, so that's fine. So I opened in the incognito, so that's the reason it is giving some error. Now click on a next button. I lost it. We have to do it immediately, this one. Now let me do it, April batch @gmail.com. Now upload it. Vehicle, click on open. Now do not stay here for a long time. Now click on a next. Now here automatically vehicle it is taken. The what are the CSV file is, it is taken the CSV file. Next one is the advanced settings. By default, it is going to view the advanced settings and click on a finish. Object is creating the object. Now updating the layout profile, and then it will come as a creating the compact layout, updating the compact layout, list view, importing the rows, and then page layout, and then whatever the actions needs to be done, everything will be completed. Now you see here, it says that you have a created object. The object name is vehicle, because my CSV file name is vehicle. How many fields it is detected? 7 fields. Rows are 3 rows, it is detected. 3 rows, it is detected. Now let's go to the object manager here. Now if I search here vehicle, I can see the vehicle details. I can see vehicle. So vehicle __ C. So plural name, this is the issue here. It is taken as a singular label name, similar to the singular label name. Plural label is also taken the same thing. And you will see this option. And if you go to the fields and relationship, whatever the fields you have, right? So email, it is taken as a email __ C, exterior color _color C. And then you have a manual transaction, you have a sunroof type or there. But here 4-wheel drive, right? It is by default, it is taken as a X4 because field name should not be starting with the number. Field names should not be starting with the number. Numeric, we should not start it. We always start with the alphabet. If you specify the numeric, what will happen? It is going to give you the alpha, some number it is going to take here, some character it is going to take here. Usually it will take the X, and X after that, what are the number is there, it will take that number _ wheel drive _ C _ C. So these are the options which are available. Now, if you go back to the Salesforce, in the Salesforce, let's open the vehicle object. By default, it created the tab also. Now click on here. Now we have to see vehicle. So here we have a vehicles. Now go to the vehicle. When you go to the vehicle, click on a all. Click on a all records. Now all your 3 records are created here. All your 3 records are created here. Now, why this vehicle is coming as this ID? Why vehicle is coming as this ID? Now let's go here. Now let me open this record. This is whenever we create an object, vehicle name is automatically created, right? Vehicle name is automatically created. So while inserting the CSV file, we do not have a specific name, right? So what it does, it is basically taking the vehicle, whatever the ID is there, 18-digit ID is there, it is by default, it is taken. And whatever the records that I have pushed, that I have imported by using the object, creating the object from the spreadsheet, all the 3 records are created. with the same manual transaction, vehicle, and a sunroof. All these options are created. So this is how we create a object. This is how we create a object. Whenever you insert a object, whenever you are creating a object or a field from the CSV file, please cross-verify the fields once it is created, cross-verify whether it is created perfectly or not. Is all the fields with the proper data type, is it created or not? Is the details are created or not? If the details are not created properly, update that. Sometimes by default, Salesforce will be using the whatever the default feature is there, they will be using the default feature. But as per your requirement, if you want to change anything, you can change it. Once you insert, just cross-verify all the details and then change the details. Similarly, cross-verify the records also. If there is any data is missed, now here the name is not there, right? So basically here it should be the vehicle name, but we did not pass the vehicle name, right? So, but whenever we create an object, the vehicle name is automatically created based on the object. One text field is created. So usually when we load the data from the CSV file, the name is by default, it will take the 18 digit. By default, it will take the name. By default, it will take the 18 digit. So later you need to make a changes onto this. Right? This is how we create a object from the CSV or from the spreadsheet. Same steps for the when you are loading it for the Google Sheet. Same steps for when you are loading it from the OneDrive. Only the thing it is going to change is your file is going to change. Whatever the file you are importing, that is the file it is going to change. Data migration from non-Salesforce system to the Salesforce system, you can do it this way. But from non-Salesforce system, how you are exporting the data, it's depending on that. If you are exporting the data from non-Salesforce system, so basically you can, if you are exporting in CSV file, you can load the CSV file here. If you are exporting in the Google Sheet, you can load the CSV file here. So same thing, whether it is the external system is nothing but right now I did almost similar to the external system only. I did not push the data from the Salesforce to Salesforce, right? I have some data in my system, right? I have exported it from the different system, which is not a Salesforce. That file is from the different system. That file is from the different system which I have used it. So this file, whatever the data I have, this data is from the different system, I exported it from the different system, then I imported here, Any questions on the custom object? Custom object from the spreadsheet. Any questions? Now I'll send you this file. So basically this is also what you need to do is you need to upload this file in Salesforce. Okay, here we have a house name and the name of the CSV file is house. Name of the CSV file is house. So you need to choose house name here, field name, address, state, city, zip, how many bedrooms are there, how many bathrooms, what is the price of it, and the picture of it. So this file you need to load it. In the Salesforce and go ahead and create a custom object. This is the assignment. So I'll be sharing this CSV file. So what you need to do is you need to import this CSV file in order to create the custom object house. And the first row, what are the first row is there? This first row is called as a field label or a field rows. Right, so these are the details. I'll share this CSV file. Now that's the second way of creating the custom object. Either you can choose the directly creating the custom object from the Salesforce by just clicking on the creating the custom object, or else There is another option is you can create it from the custom object. And the third way is from the schema builder. Third way is from the schema builder if you want to create an object. If you want to create an object, right? Now here you have a go to the elements, go to the schema builder, go to the elements here. Here you see object. So drag a here object, drag the object here. What I have done is I opened the schema builder. By default, it is showing the objects here, right? You need to click on a elements. Click on a elements. Whenever you click on a elements, you will see there is a object, right? Here you have a object. Drag it onto the canvas. Drag it onto the canvas. When you drag it onto the canvas, you will see here different, similar to the object, you will see these are the options. These are the options you will see. For example, I wanted to create a object which is called as a student object, and plural name is students, and starts with, right? I do not want to go with the oval sound, just a constant, and object name is a student. Description: this object is used to create student records. And then record name is, I'll go for a student name, data type is a text. And in development, yes, it is in development, allow reports, allow activities, track building history, and notes and attachment. Click on it, save. Now this is the object is created. This object is created. Before this object was not there. Now if I type here student, I cannot see, right? Now the new object is created. But whenever we create an object from the schema builder, what is the additional things you have to do is, let's go to the setup. Whenever we create an object from the schema builder, now go to the Lightning application, Lightning experience, the object manager. Now let's go to the student. Now here you have a student. Now you can see the student, right? Now, first thing is that it created the field, it created the by default, whatever the 5 fields are there, it is created and the object is created. But it will not create the tab. By default, it will not create the tab. So you need to again click on the tabs, go to the tabs here. You need to click on your tabs. And click on here new. Now this time you will see the student object. Click on this tab list and you can see here. Take any details, right? So students and click on it next. Default on and click on it next. And then click on a save button. Now you can see the tabs is visible. If you go to the all, now here students. Let's refresh this. Yes, every profile. By default, all the profiles will have a access. By default, all the profiles will have a access. Go to the students. Now you can see right now the tab is available. Now this is how we have to create an additional step whenever you create a student object from the schema builder. So you do not have an option to select or unselect. Option is not available. You need to create the tab. Now, right now, I have created a vehicle object from the spreadsheet. When we create a vehicle object from the spreadsheet, now let's go to the one field. In the field, now it will ask you that set field level security. There is a one button is called set field level security. Now what is happening by default, it will give you the system admin. By default, it will give only to the system admin. It will not give to the any other profile. It will not give to the any other profile. Somebody asked a question, right? So by default, it will not allow to all the profiles. It is just a system admin. It is just a system admin. Then later, once you created it, what are the profile you wanted, you can enable for those profiles. But whenever you import a CSV file from the desktop to the Salesforce, it will just give the profile level access to only system administrator, not for other profiles. Any questions? Now, there is another way, right? So let's go ahead and see. One more thing is called as an external object. One more thing is called external object. What is this external object? How do I create an external object? And where should I need to go for an external object? Where are three objects? Which one you are saying it? CSV file or you are saying it schema builder? If you do not have access to the object, how you will create a tab? You cannot create a tab. If you have access to the tab, then only you will see the tab level when you go. So whenever you do not have access to the object, you will not even see that object in the tab. You will not even see that object in the tab. So without access, you will not be able to. Now, external object. What is this external object? How do we create an external object? Now, if I go here, if I go to the object manager, and here if I click on this, it doesn't say anywhere whether it is an external object or not. It doesn't say anywhere external object. Now, how do I create an external object? How do I create an external object? Do I really need to create it, or how do I need to do this basically? Now let's go ahead and see, understand it. External objects are basically, these objects are similar to the custom objects. These objects are similar to the custom objects. That means whatever the custom objects that we are creating, whatever the custom objects which we are creating it, similar to that custom object. But external objects record data, whatever the data are there is stored outside of your Salesforce org. Is stored Salesforce outside of the Salesforce org. So that means I have some Hiraku system here. I have another system name is called, this is a Hiraku system. This is a Hiraku system. This is another system. Now this side I have a Salesforce. This side I have a Salesforce. Now this side I have a Salesforce. This side I have a Salesforce. Now there is some data which is there in the Hiraku. There is some data. Let's assume that order data. Some orders are going on. So there is some order object, right? Order details. Some data which is there here, order details, or one more object is called as an order. So these two objects are there in the Hiraku, and there are some records are there. Now what I'm going to do is using the external object, whatever this data is available, this data I will bring it to the Salesforce. In the Salesforce, I will create a same objects here. Whatever the objects are available in the Hiraku, that's the same object. Basically, I'll create it here, order object. This is the object. This is the external object. Now, who will be creating the records and who will be maintaining this is created by the Hiraku, maintained by the Hiraku. We are not maintaining it. Now, how can I see the record? Because records will be whatever the records are there in this Hiraku system, the same records you will see in the Salesforce. In the Hiraku system, if there are 5 records, right? So you will see 5 records in the Salesforce. If there are 10 records in the Hiraku system, you will see 10 records in the Salesforce. That means before creating the external object, initially you need to enable the connection between the two systems. You need to enable the connection between the two systems. Once you enable the connection between the two systems, now it is going to ask you certain information saying that once this is enabled, that it says that in the Hiraku object, there are 10 objects are there. In the Hiraku system, there are 10 objects are there. Now, which object do you wanted to always retrieve it? If you say 2 objects, I wanted to retrieve it, right? In that case, what will happen? It will retrieve those 2 objects and it will create these objects as an external object. This is created as an external object. This is one scenario. Another scenario is external object. You can also create it by clicking on the new button. Now, how to create it? We'll see that. By clicking on this new button, you can also create an external object. But once you create an external object here, you need to share that data to the Hiraku system. You need to share that details to the Hiraku system. So that Hiraku will also create the same object, and whatever the records are inserted in the Hiraku system, it will be transferred to the new object. It will be transferred to the new objects. So this is how the discussions happen between the two objects. Now, what is the necessary that I should be creating the external object? Now, there is some functionality which is shared because in order to work on this functionality, half of the functionality is available in the Hiraku, half of the functionality which is available in the Salesforce. Now, what are the half of the functionality which is there in the Salesforce? In order to work on this functionality, the better option is I can use some object details, right? I can pull those records directly by using the external object, and I can store the details here. I can store the details here. So using the details, I can perform those functionality.
Okay.
I can perform those functionalities. Now let's go ahead and create one. Let's see that. Now, by default, I have taken one URL, which is a URL that is a third-party system. Now let's go ahead and do it. Now, in order to do that, go to the home, go to the home, setup, home, and here type external, type external, right? So you will see 3 options here. You will see 3 options. One is in the integration. This is part of an integration. In the integration, you will see external data sources, external object, external service. These are the 3 things which are available in the integration. In the integration which are available. External object is a completely different topic, right? You cannot see in the object manager. In the object manager, only 2 types are available: standard type, standard object, and custom object. External objects are as part of the integration. We can create an external object. Now let's go to the external object here. Now, before going to the external object, you need to enable the connection. That means you need to go to the external data source. You need to go to the external data source. In the external data source, now what you need to do is when you go here, access the data in Salesforce org as well as the third-party database and content system. You can access the same data in Salesforce, same data is available in the third-party system also. Now here, there are 2 buttons are given. In case if you want to connect to the Amazon DB, in case you wanted to connect to the Amazon DB. So you can choose the connect to the Amazon Dynamo DB, or else if you have any other system. For example, I have right now Hiraku system. So I click on a new external data source, new external data source. I'll say here, Hiraku, external, or let's say Hiraku, and click on a name and type. I'm going to choose here Salesforce Connect OData 2.0. You can choose anything. You can choose anything, but right now I'm choosing the Connect to OData 2.0 because I have some system which I can connect to. I have a system which I can connect to. What is this system? This is the system. Hiraku app. Hiraku app is the system. Hiraku app is the system. So I have given here Salesforce Connect OData 2.0, and this is the app. Now go down. Now it is going to ask that how do you want it to identify? Let's go to the OData 4.0. Right. Let's specify here SVC authentication. Let's say anonymous cross org. Okay, let's say cross org. Now here, let's say this one, authentication provider, nothing is there. So if you go for another cross org, you need to specify their password authentication, whatever the another user credentials, username, password is there, you need to specify that. Or else if you do not want to go with that, then you say here simple URL. Do you want to go with a simple URL? You can specify here. Or else you can go for a O.2.0 where you can specify the URL. Where you can specify the URL. Just a second. Okay, so OData 2.0, and then let's say here, this is the URL. This is the URL, and then click on it, save button. Let's click on save button. Right, I'm using the Hiraku. You can choose any name here, external data source. Now click on a save. So once you click on a save, it is going to give you this screen. Hiraku type is OData 2.0. Now these are the couple of options which are available. Authentication. Now next thing is here it is asking that validate and sync. Validate and sync. Now I have created a record, external data source I have created Hiraku, and I wanted to validate it. So click on this validate. Once you click on this validate, what is saying is it is success. It is validate external data source is success. It is saying the success, and then here you have a couple of information. Here you have a couple of information. Now here you can choose the order and order details. Order details. So these are the objects which are available in the external system. These are the objects which are available in the Hiraku system. Category is there, order details is there, order is there, payment mechanism is there, payment is there, subcategory is there, right? So what is the name field, which in case if you want to choose any specific, you can choose it, right? By default, here you have a sync in the background. In case if you want to sync in the background, you can do that, or else let's click on here sync. That means I'm choosing the order and order details. It is running order and order details. Background sync job is running, status is running. Now let's refresh the job. Now it says complete. Now there is no errors. In case if you want to remove the job, you can remove it. Now what we have done, we have created a external data source. We have created the external data source. Once the external data source is created, let's go back to the external object. External object. When I go to the external object, I can see those objects are automatically created here. Before it was not there. Before it was not there. Now you can see here time 9:31 a.m. just 1 second before. Just 1 second before this object is created. Whenever we create an external object, API name is ending with __x. And these are the standard fields and these are the custom fields based on the whatever the third party system is having the data, those data we are pushing into the Salesforce. External access available between the products only means only to these objects you mean to say? From third, these objects are created from third party itself. We have not created these objects. These objects are created from the external data source, which is called as a Hiraku. Whatever the in the external data source has these objects, those objects only created here, right? So in this third party system, I have this object. So that's the reason we have selected while creating the external data source. I want this object to be available here. I want this object to be available here. So that's the reason whatever the records are available in this, whatever the data is available in the Hiraku, same details I can see it here. If I go to the order, external object definition, this is a singular and this is a plural and the API name always ends with __x. So right, that is the difference between the custom object and external object. Custom object has a ending with __c. External object is having the __x. And what is the external data source? It is going to specify here. So through this source, it is created those objects, right? Those objects are available Hiraku. That's the reason we are able to see that data. And name field is external ID. Deployment status is in deployment. Allow search. Now these are the customer ID, order data, order ID, right, shipped date. These are the couple of information and the page layout is automatically created. So these are the couple of options which are available. Now let's go back to the home. Now first thing, let's go back to the tab. Now if I go back to the tab, check, click here to open the page. I'm into the incognito, so that's the reason it is always suggesting me to the move to the classic. Now here I can see the tab order details, order details. Click on this order. Now select here. I'm going to choose the order related information. I'm going to choose it. Now click on the next. I'm creating the tab for the external object. I'm creating the tab for the external object. Now click on here, save. Now we have a order. Now let's go back and check in the Lightning system. In the Lightning, go back to the refresh. Now here, click on the order. Okay, I have two orders. Let's open one and two of them. Let's open. One is a Salesforce standard one. One is the one which is created by the external system. Let me create another tab. Click on tab. So click on the tabs. Now click on a new. order details, click on this tab style. Let me select the Apple and click on the next and click on the next. Click on save. Now let's go here. Let's click on search. Order details. Click on this order details. Now these are the all record. Now these are the records which are available in the third-party system. These are the records which are available in the third-party system. Order ID, order line item, product, quantity, unit price, right? So these are the one which are bringing from the third-party system to the Salesforce. Salesforce is automatically, you have to choose it. It is going to take the text format. It is going to, if in case like a Salesforce data types are mostly it is available. All the data types are available. In case if there are any are not available, it might throw an error or it might convert to the text format. It might convert to the text format. But as far as I know, Salesforce has all the different data types, all the data types. Is there any data type which is not available in Salesforce? I cannot find it anything. But in case if there are any, it might convert into the text or it might throw an error based on the data type. Right, any other questions? So this is the, from the third-party system, how we create an external object. So in order to create an external object, you need to first create an external data source, external data source. So create a first external data source, and through the external data source, which are the one you wanted to create it here, whether you wanted to do the another Salesforce or another URL, whatever is required, just do it. And then automatically it will ask you to select the objects so that automatically those objects will be created in the external object. Next one is the external service. External service is basically, it is just a service, right? How many, like total registrations, how many registration, active operation, total operation, active objects, total objects, right? If you want to create a new external service, right? You can create, what is the external service? Like you wanted to talk to the MuleSoft or you wanted to talk to the from different API. If you select the API, then click on this API, go on next, and you need to specify the API URL name. You need to specify the API URL name. Or if you are going with the MuleSoft, right? If you are going with the MuleSoft, it is going to ask you to select a MuleSoft endpoint. So we do not have anything here. Named credentials, we have not created anything. So that's the reason it is giving me the error. If you want to go with any API specifications, you need to select all this external source, service name, and what is the URL, everything, all the details you need to enter, then click on it next, so that the service gets created. So the service gets created. It is just a service here. Now let's suppose if I create a new external service. Now API. Now let's say here I'll give the same URL. It is not taking, let's give it as a .com. Now here, H1, right? Relative to URL, or else if you want to go for a complete JSON, you can use the JSON structure here, right? Or else if you wanted to upload from the local system, if you want to upload the JSON formatted schema file, any file you wanted to upload, or you wanted to relate to the schema URL. So this is a basically schema URL. So right now we do not have anything. So it's similar to the some URL you are providing it so that the service will get enabled. Fine. Any questions on the objects? So we covered objects, right? What are the different ways of creating an object? Any questions so far? You can link whatever, what a Google Doc or external doc or whatever is there, you can link it. But it has to be schema URL. Whatever you are linking, it has to be schema URL. Yes, syncing will be two ways it will be available. So that's the reason when we selected it, I said that sync, right? There is a sync option is available. Now, for example, if I am going to change, modify this, right now I do not have an edit option here. I do not have an edit option for this. Now, let's go ahead and create setup, or else let's go for an edit. We do not able to see the object. Now let me go ahead and see the external object. Can I see the external objects here in the object manager? Let's see that. So order details. I cannot see the order details. Order details I cannot see. So basically those external objects we cannot see in the object manager. We cannot see in the object manager. Only it is visible in the external objects. You cannot see the external objects data here in the object manager, right? And they do not have a compact layout. That means compact layout is nothing but, now whenever you go to the different object, like for example, you go here, object, opportunity, click on this record. When you click on this record, if you click on this setup, it says that edit object. But where it is, if it is a external object, if you click on this, it will not show the edit object. It will not show edit object. It will just show the edit page. It will just show the edit page. You cannot create the object here. You cannot create the object. Basically, the object is not visible in the external objects are not visible in the object manager. Only it is visible in the external objects. Now, in this external objects, let's click on this object. Now here it is just saying that edit object. Now let's go to the profile. Now in the profile level, as a system admin, will I be able to give a permission to the external object? Will I be able to give a permission to the external object? Let's go to the profile. See, these are the real-time scenarios. Nobody will cover these things. External objects and these all things, nobody will cover it. So let's go to the system admin. So system administrator. So in the system administrators, click on edit. Now, am I able to see the external objects at the profile level? Am I able to see the external objects at the profile level? Now we need to have a order details. Custom object, right? So it is a external objects are read permissions. What is the permission? Read permission. Though I am in a edit, I still have a read permission. Now, this is for the system admin. Now, this is for system administrator. Now, let me check the one which I have created a custom profiles. The one which I have created a custom profiles, which is Tata Sales. The one which I have created profile. What is the custom one? Tata Sales Admin. Click on this. This is a Salesforce license, which I created the custom profile. When I click on a custom profile, do I have an option to give a edit permission? I cannot give a edit permission. It is just a read permissions I have. I do not have a edit permissions. So basically, whatever is updated in the Hierarchy side, it will be synced automatically in the Salesforce. But whatever we are updating it, we cannot update. First of all, the external objects cannot be updated in the Salesforce. It is not updated in the Salesforce. Only it can be updated in the external system. If you create an object in the Salesforce, if you create a external object in the Salesforce, now let me go back here. Now here, if you create a new external object, if you create a new external object, you have a full permission of this. You have a full permission. Now this external object, now let's go ahead and create here. Let's say that Salesforce external. Salesforce external. Now here Salesforce externals, click on save. Now name is external name. External data source. So external data source, I'm going to choose the Hierarchy, right? And then name is I'll say here, which is a external name. Allow reports. Here it is enable licensing is available. I do not want to enable that licensing. So basically it indicates if the object is licensed by the Salesforce, right? If it is already licensed by the Salesforce, then only they will be able to view this object. Now I do not want to restrict this object level. Allow search and launch new object, new custom tab. Now click on a save. It will be redirected to the tab. Now this is the external system. I'm creating the external system one. So let's take it as a map. Now click on a next. Now default on for everybody, click on a next and then click on next, save. Now I have created the external object. When I have created the external object, still it is coming as a __ X. And these are the details which are available. Now I'll refresh this profile. Now click on the edit. When I click on the edit, let's go down to the custom objects. Now in the custom objects, external object, still we have a read option. Still we have a read option. We do not have a edit option. We do not have a edit options are not available on the external objects. We are only able to get the data. We are not able to update. We are not able to create. We are not able to delete the data. External objects are only related to the external. We do not have a full authority to do anything on those external objects. Clear, everybody? Any questions so far related to the objects? Any questions? Is it clear? Practice it today. External URLs, you can go to the Trailhead link or anything. If you go there, usually those external URLs, you will get it. So this is one of the Trailhead. If you do it, you will get the Hierarchy URL. So you can get that. What is this means? Why object creation? Creating a record, you mean to say? So create a record. Basically, external objects are specific to the external system. It is not for our purpose. It is not for our own purpose. It is just for a external system data. We are bringing it and we are using that data for our functionality. we cannot create it, because when the user is entering, actually when I go to the patient registration form, if I enter the data there, then only the record will be saved in the backend, right? So the data will, Hiraku has a front end, application is available. Hiraku has front end application. When the front end application, now Hiraku system, now here I have a Hiraku system. In the Hiraku system, they have a front end. They have a front end. So this is their front end. So in the front end, user is entering certain data. User is entering the first name or last name, some data they are entering. Now, when the data will sit into the object level, whenever the user is entering the data, when the user enter the data and click on submit, that's how the records are created in the, that object. If the user is not entering the data, why will I store the data related to that, right? There is some use of it. Either the user is entering the data on the user interface, or else through the user interface, we are automatically creating those records. If the user click on a submit button, then only what will happen, as soon as user click on a submit button, it will go and sits into the object level. So this is the Hiraku system. Now, whatever the user is entering the data, it sits into the object level. Now, that same object, I am bringing, whatever the user entered the data, that same object I am bringing inside the Salesforce. Now, I do not have a user interface in Salesforce. When I do not have a user interface, what is the purpose of creating, editing, or modifying, deleting? Why should I need to do all the DML operations? I do not require a DML operation. All the DML operations are happening in the Hiraku. I am bringing this data here because I have some kind of a functionality that I need to be implemented. So that's the reason I bought this here. Clear, Sumana, whoever is asked. Suman. Okay, that's all for today. I'll ping you the trial head links. Please practice it.